Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast.
Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to cover in this week's episode of the Echo Tips podcast.
You'd like to delete the recordings of everything said to me today, is that right? Just so you know, after you delete all voice recordings, I may not be able to understand and respond to you as well. Do you still want me to permanently delete them?
Well, hello, and welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. It's good to have you returning listeners and our new listeners as well. This week, we have a wonderful program in store for you. For you new listeners, I'll explain a little bit what the show is all about and what we cover and all that side of good stuff. But today, I'd first like to address our core topic connected with our favorite A-Lady or Amazon Echo devices, and that is dealing with privacy. So in past episodes, we have talked about privacy options and controls and voice commands. We will revisit some of those today, but we're going to talk more about advanced privacy options today and some things that you may not have known were in there and incredible nuances in the way in which you control how certain information is stored or not stored with Amazon. But before we delve into that in any sort of detail, I'd like to first like I said, welcome our new listeners to the podcast. It's good to have you guys here with us. You'll find that the Echo Tips podcast, where I'm the host, David Ward, I'm an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, here based in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Southwest Virginia. And you'll find that our show here is nuggetized little episodes. We run somewhere between 15 to 25 minutes an episode. We come out on a weekly basis, usually around Wednesday. This show's probably coming out a little bit later this week, so my bad on that, but generally around the middle of the week every week. And we're finishing up our 6th season, so we have a back catalog of over 300 episodes. We've talked about privacy in the past. Now we're going to talk about some more advanced features. We've talked about home automation, applications for youths and children and parents and caregivers and seniors. We've talked about business environments, using them at retirement homes, Amazon Echoes. Just a wealth of scenarios and things that you can do with your Amazon Echo. Some games, some fun, just practical things. So just we got a whole plethora of things. So by all means, go back and check out our back catalog. But before we delve into this topic dealing with advanced privacy, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast. And then as always, we will be right back.
This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a non-profit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. And we thank you for listening. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision.
Well, hello again. And as I mentioned this week, it's good to have you all with us. And we're going to be talking about privacy and in particular, in quotations, I'm air quoting here, advanced privacy. So just not your run-of-the-mill privacy concerns or topics, which we will address some of those, but we're going to talk about more advanced privacy options. And so this may be a longer form episode. I didn't intend to do that, but maybe to cram everything in, we might have to do some of that. So first off, you're welcome to go back and check my back catalog about privacy things and episodes that I've come out with. Now, there is occasionally people that are unacquainted with the technology that have these concerns and about, the device is listening all the time. It's recording everything, But, really we've addressed that in past episodes that's not really the way the technology works. That's like back in the 40s or something, them putting telephones in homes in 30s and 40s and saying, oh, it's listening to everything. No, till you pick the handset up, it ain't transmitting, And so it's very much similar with the Amazon Echo. It has its wake word, it listens for the A-Lady name. See, I'm probably covering old material here for you guys who have listened for a long time, but I'm just repeating for our new listeners. So until you say that wake word, it isn't really listening to you and taking that down and then running it up to the internet to see, okay, what was the weather for today, and then come back with the answer. And so that's the nature of the way they work. We're going to find some exceptions to that today. For example, you could configure your Amazon Echo to listen for fire alarms in your house. Could be super helpful. And in that case, it can report to you while you're out on the road, hey, there's a fire alarm going off at your house, or some sort of breaking glass sound or something like that. And so that broadens its range of things that it could listen to or respond to, and hence, naturally, more things it's making brief little 30-second recordings of and saying, oh, was that breaking glass? No, that was the dog knocking something over. So that is just an example as well. All right, so but today we're going to be talking about more of the nature of what it does record and the privacy implications and how you want to treat that material. Now, I think a lot of this has always been up front. We've had over the pandemic and different things, little tirades people had about assistants, just not Google, the Amazon Assistant, but the Google Assistant, Siri, and all these things about recordings and things like that. To be fair, they all pretty much do the exact same things, just as I described before, and they all have slightly different policies about when they wipe that stuff out and what the default configuration is. But for our favorite A-Lady, we're going to delve into what those settings are today. Now, first off, I'm going to demo here for you real quick how you can use simple verbal commands. And I've done this in the past, but you can simply say, oh, just a quick blurb here. If you do have an Amazon Echo in hearing distance of my voice, you may want to shut its ears off, because when I'm doing this, you may not want me triggering your Amazon Echo at home. So just give everybody a second to do that. And now we'll proceed with the demo. All right, let's give this a try. Alexa, delete everything I've said today.
You'd like to delete the recordings of everything said to me today, is that right?
No.
No problem. I won't delete anything.
All right. Alexa, delete everything I've ever said.
Just so you know, after you delete all voice recordings, I may not be able to understand and respond to you as well. Do you still want me to permanently delete them?
Yes.
Okay, I'll delete them.
They need sound effects or something, like whoosh. Anyway, so it's all burned, it's all gone. So anyway, you can do that. Very simple commands by day and everything. And who knows, maybe we'll get more nuances as well. So those are your core verbal commands for managing your privacy. Okay, so you're probably undoubtedly familiar, if you heard our past episodes, with those basic commands that I just demonstrated. But there are much more advanced controls and options and management techniques inside the A-Lady app. So we're going to delve into that now. So on my iPhone, I have a screen reader running on called VoiceOver, so for the blind and vision impaired, so you can hear what I'm doing. But I'm going to tell you first off where you need to go. So inside the A-Lady app, either on your tablet, smartphone, Android device, and the UI, I believe, is pretty similar no matter what type of platform you're on. But you're going to open up the app. And this is assuming you're logged in and everything. And you're going to go down to the More button in the bottom right. And that's going to open up a slide out menu that's got a whole bunch of advanced options, like this is where we go for routines or searching for skills or different things like that, blueprints and other advanced functions. And we're going to go down about halfway to 3/4 of the way down the screen, and you're going to find a button that says Settings. Okay? Once you get into settings, you're going to scroll. This has actually got quite a few things it's added over the years. I can remember it was listed like one page. But you're going to go down to privacy. I'm going to tap on privacy, pretty straightforward. And then that's going to pop up a little dialog box. It's going to look a little a different window, I should say. Once you're in there, let me cue that up here, and you guys should be able to hear my phone here piped into the mixer. At our A-Lady privacy, there we go. And we're going to go down to just a brief description here about it.
We know that you care how information about you is used and shared, and we appreciate your trust that we will do so carefully and sensibly. Heading level 2.
Okay, so there is a basic kind of concept. Now, this is broke out into a lot of categories. Now, I got the idea to maybe cover this material from a ZDNet post by Marie Diaz, and she highlighted some things that I hadn't really thought about and different things, and she wrote that piece so long ago that this has actually got a lot more stuff in it than when she wrote that piece. But I thought it'd be worth addressing with you guys, just so if you know that these controls are in there, in addition to the verbal commands. So to start with, it breaks out the different types of information that are tracked basically by category. So let's look at one, for example. Here's our first one.
Review voice history.
Voice history. So that's pretty straightforward. If we under each one of these has a little description.
Voice history shows your voice interactions with Alexa. You can filter by date and choose an entry to see details.
Okay, so you can filter those. We're going to learn more about that here in a second. So that's just generic voices. You may be like, well, what else is there? You'd be surprised. There's a lot in here. So notice this one. This is one I wouldn't have immediately thought of, and I don't think was in that original ZDNet piece.
Review history of detected sounds.
Detected sounds. So remember I mentioned like breaking glass or fire alarms? This is a whole separate category in here that you can manage independently as to those recordings and privacy features connected with that. Now let me move down the screen a little further here. The next category.
Review smart home device history.
Smart home device history. So when you're giving commands, or maybe you have a touchscreen Amazon Echo and you're controlling different home automation things around your home, you know, that's not necessarily purely verbal commands. You could be interacting in different ways, but that's all very kind of potentially personal information about how you're working in your home, when you're at home, when you're not at home, when the air conditioning's on, when it's not on, you know, whatever kind of home automation tools you're using. So that is also logged, and you have separate privacy controls for that as well. All right, let's go down a little further.
Review activity history.
Review activity history. Now, this is a little more amorphous, so I'm not too sure. Let's see the description here.
Activity history shows additional information related to your voice interactions and other activities on Alexa, such as subscription confirmation and skill enablement.
Yeah, this is kind of an interesting one. I haven't really burrowed into this too much, though. But I guess certain types of things that you may do, like creating a subscription or enabling or disabling a skill, maybe where there's a little handoff between Amazon's privacy tracking and then maybe the skill stuff. It has an independent monitoring here too that you can set some of the privacy controls.
Manage skill permissions and add preferences.
Manage skill Now, this is kind of a different category of sorts. So when you have certain skills, they may require you to set up an independent account or profile or link to your Amazon account in some way, and they may ask for certain personal information like your name and email account so they can independently correspond with you. You know, say it was, I don't know, Domino's Pizza or something. They can send you a coupon or something. So these are that, you know, not really what you think of typically as verbal kind of style things, but they're interlaced with all of these different skills we may use. And so this is kind of connected in here as well. So you have all those kind of different nuances and preferences. Plus, I guess it's an easy way to see, what is that skill tracking this? Is it tracking that? You know, it'd be very interesting to know. And so right there it is, all independently categorized. Let me see if there's anything else. I think that might be it. Okay, there is one more item down here at the bottom of the page, and I almost forgot about this. So we'll go down here, and here it is.
Manage your Alexa data.
Now, it pretty much says in itself what it is. I didn't originally get it, but this is where you can set all the customizations for what we've considered above. So the above ones mostly are a log, like a search results of ultimately the recordings, and you can go and filter them by the last 30 days, and you can even purge some of them in there and filter them in the above categories we've already considered. But this is where you really manage some of the settings, like how often is the recordings automatically deleted and things like that, hence advanced privacy controls. So let's go into that. Actually, let's hear the little description first.
Training Alexa with recordings from a diverse range of customers helps ensure Alexa works well for everyone.
Okay, so that gives you a pretty snappy example here. Okay, so let's delve right into this. So that's, again,
manage your Alexa data.
Manage your A-Lady data. We'll go right in.
Voice recordings are used to better understand requests and
Okay, so it started reading some of the description on the very next page. Sorry for that. All right, so we've got some pretty cool stuff in here. Let's just kind of peruse a little bit. Let me start here about partway down.
Voice recordings.
We have our voice recordings category. Now, right below this, we have our interesting settings. Let me go back down a little bit.
Voice recordings are used to better...
Oh, a description, of course. Keep going.
Here, link.
And there's even sometimes outside links to other web pages that give you more expansive privacy and legal notices. Let's keep going.
Full stop. Enable deletion by voice.
Okay, so here's where we... this is interesting. You can actually toggle the ability for us to do the voice commands that we did earlier on or off. I'm not too sure why. It's in here, though, so, I mean, you can do that. So I guess maybe if you didn't want somebody wiping out the history of what they did, that's interesting. Yeah, maybe the kids or something, but yeah, I don't know. Usually this is stuff all turned off for kids anyway, so that's kind of interesting. Maybe in a business environment or something. Okay, so let's keep going.
Click to disable. Tick box allows you to delete recordings.
Well, I know what it does.
Choose how long to save recordings.
Here's what we wanted, and almost each one of these has this. How long to keep recordings.
Click to choose how long to save recordings.
There's our button for changing it.
Save recordings for.
Yeah, and what was it currently set to?
3 months.
3 months. So you have a number of options here. You can change it from 3 months to like 18 months. I believe there's one that's just like wipe right away, I think, which I'm not too sure what that means. Like in that day or at the end of the day, I'm not really too sure. Let's keep going.
Smart home device history.
So as you can imagine here, we have a category for each one of these things we considered before where you would actually go in and see the recordings. Here you can independently set how you want them to be wiped, stored for 3 months, stored for 18 months, just wiped, all of that. Now I think there's some additional things down here I would have never thought to be in here. Let me scroll down. So here's another category.
Voice purchasing.
Voice purchasing. So, that kind of stuff, you can set a PIN code lockout. It can be customized based on voice print. Is it mom or dad trying to order the thing? And then you have some information here. Now, I don't think there's any logs or anything here. Let me look.
Manage voice purchasing preferences.
Yeah, that's just kind of acknowledges the fact that it is something to consider connected with your privacy.
Learn more.
Then there's a learn more. It's more for legal purposes probably than anything else.
Purchase controls.
Here's some purchase controls.
Click to open purchase control menu.
Yeah, once again, not really critical.
Click to open. Anyone with a voice code can make purchases.
Yeah, this is where you can kind of make those.
Interest-based ads from Amazon on Alexa.
Now this one is interesting. I have no idea.
Any interest-based ads from Amazon on Alexa.
Interest-based ads. So I don't know if that's based on... Ads can be presented to you based on things you asked about, like you ask about a Ford Mustang, and then later it comes back and say, hey, did you know the Ford Mustang at the local dealership's on sale? I don't know what exactly, but there is a toggle to toggle it on or off.
Receive. Click
Let's
to
go down further.
Help improve page 6 of 6. Use messages to improve transcriptions.
Now this is interesting here.
If you turn this off, use messages to improve.
So when you send messages from Echo to Echo, it can be transcribed, and you can tailor whether you want those recordings to be used in a way to help improve the service and their transcription services. And down here, you can actually tailor it by individuals in your family. So, for example, I have myself here, David Ward, and then I have my fictitious child, Johnny. Now, I would imagine if he's flagged as a child account, it's probably disabled automatically anyway. And I think I did skip over something. Let me go back up here.
Training Alexa with click to disable.
Yeah, here it is, I think.
Use of voice recordings.
Use of voice recordings. Okay, so use of voice recordings. Let's go down and hear what this says.
Click to disable. Tick box. Ticked.
Okay, so you can click to disable that. Now let's get a description. I think you'll know what this means when we hear it.
Training Alexa with recordings from a diverse range of customers helps ensure Alexa works well for everyone. While this setting is off, your voice recordings will not be used to develop new features or go through human review to help improve our services. Only an extremely small fraction of voice recordings go through human review.
Okay, so that is kind of a legal clause that all these pretty much voice assistants have, which is that if something goes a really particular haywire for quality control and quality assurance, maybe at random when they remove all the identifiers, a human being somewhere, up in Amazon can actually peruse it and listen and go, oh no, that's not what the command was for. It was for this, and train the model to learn from that. But you can, as I said in here, tailor that and turn it on or turn it off. So you can deny and say, no, I do not want any human beings to hear any commands. I don't care how innocuous they are. So anyway, so that pretty much takes you through, and I don't think I missed anything, all the core major things. So all the previous categories, again, that we looked at before, that's where you'd find the actual recordings, and you could do some filters and you could purge and stuff there. But here's where you kind of set up the automated routines for how long stuff is stored, and or do you want a person like we just saw to be able to review it, even if it's like 1% or something.
Vertical script.
Whoops, sorry. The dictation, and transcription thing for messages, all that kind of stuff is right in here. So anyway, I think that kind of sums that up. So anyway, hopefully that gave you a little bit of a taste for the privacy settings. There's probably a lot more in there that I really didn't get a chance to touch on too much, but there's a lot going on there. Feel free to check that out. It's really nice. It's very upfront about what they are doing. Okay, well, that'll bring the show to a conclusion. I again am David Ward for the New Vision program, and we thank you so much for listening. If you have thoughts or suggestions for a future episode, you can email us at info@goodwillvalleys.com, or you can send us a message on Facebook or Twitter, now known as X, at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. And just in either case of the email or the post, just flag it in such a way that, say, you're trying to reach the New Vision program or the Echo Tips podcast, and that way that message can be directed to me. Well, until next time, it's time to turn the ears back on your Echo. Start practicing some of the many, many things that you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we thank you for listening.
This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. And we thank you for listening. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision.
Okay, we're gonna go here in... I am recording, right? Is it moving? Is the bloody piece of junk moving? Are you recording? Oh, it's like I'm cursed. Cursed, I tell ye. Do I have the right freaking mic on? Minor point. I don't think you do. Are we recording? Recording. I hope to God we are recording. Are we recording? I see nothing that shows that we are recording. Hello. No evidence. Are we recording? Recording. I've never seen it not record. I can't tell. It doesn't feel like it's moving. Do I got volumes? Wait. This could be good. Hello. Are we recording? Unknown. Not processing. No evidence that it is being recorded. I swear to God, you can't make this frack up.